All right, speaking of sick, here we go. Dan to Dan, episode 6.
We could skip the spoiler-free version. It's just awesome.
This is the episode of all the episode 6s today. This has the least amount of notes. And it's basically because, like, how do you write about what that performance that we witnessed?
She was just sick as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say. It's like,
everyone was
damn, that was
headbanging,
fucking
having a good
wild.
time. Yeah, and the ghosts came out, and it was great.
Okay, here we go. We'll just dive right into it. Episode 6, Dan to Dan, Season 2. Evil Eye literally fucking explodes Seiko's house, but Momo splashes him with some thermos water, and he turns back into Gigi, and he apologizes, and Seiko is like, well, we might not have a house by tomorrow. Just then, an outlandish-looking quartet rolls up to the gate, and they strike their pose and walk up, and Seiko is like, get the fuck out. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they leave. Momo and Aira are fighting about who is the leader of the group, but then the quartet comes back and is like, is this Seiko's house? And Seiko's like, maybe. And they're like, oh, we received the request. And they all have Hayase business cards, and their names are Patterson, Yoshikichi, Toshiro, and Hideji.
Love the English Besu, Doramu,
Yeah.
Volkaru, and Gita. So fucking good.
Dude, your Japanese is so good.
Sick, dude.
I'm actually just going to never talk about Japanese again. You are now the subject matter expert of all Japanese and Japan culture. I will climb into my furnace Gattaca style and you take over.
Okay, great.
All right. They hook up all their music equipment and Seiko is like, man, why didn't you say so? And they're like, we got an image to uphold. Sorry about that. Momo is like, this is sick as fuck. Are they spirit mediums? And Seiko is like, fuck no. They can't even see spirits. But their performance is the real deal and have the power to echo their sounds into the spirit world. And if they can't see spirits, then they won't get dragged along by them during an exorcism. They warm up and they all sound like shit, but then they start the exorcism and they're like, all right, everyone in the crowd, let me hear you. And it's just Aira, Okarun, and Momo. And they're like, yeah. They start the exorcism and are rocking out super hard. And everyone is headbanging and spirits are raising. And it looks like it's working and stirring evil eye within Gigi. But Gigi is telling them to stop. But Seiko tells Momo to hold him down with her psychic hands. She does, but is able to feel evil eye within Gigi, similar to acrobatic Silky. And Gigi says not to erase him. And Momo is able to see evil eye's past. And Gigi says he promised to play with him. And all Evil Eye wanted to do was play with someone. And he even practiced dancing. And now that he's out, he's just going to die again. The performance ends, but Seiko puts out all the fires and stops the exorcism and calls it off. And says she'll have Evil Eye join her family. And she likes that side of Gigi. Aira's like, man, I don't want to take care of this dude my whole life. Then Okarun says he'll learn how to hold Evil Eye back, and if he gets stronger, then there won't be any problems if he transforms. Did you want to say anything about the performance or anything? Because I went through
sick as
quick.
fuck, dude. That shit fucking shredded. Dude, it was just like the whole time. It reminded me of like Dragon Force or Rhapsody of Fire. Like, dude, they just shredded. I love power metal and hair metal like that. I know as a DJ, I don't get to really listen to all of that good stuff very often. But yeah, no, it was it was rad.
I'm glad that since we're doing video podcasts now, everyone can see the screenshot. So you can visually see this performance that I wasn't able to describe.
Mm-hmm.
Aira is like, you'll always be in danger. And Okarun is like, well, he's my friend. And then Momo is like, oh shit. And puts her arm around Okarun and is like, I'll get stronger too, and it'll be easier with 2 people. Then Aira is like, wait, what the fuck? No, I'm gonna get stronger now. And then it just turns into Kaiju number 8. Then it starts to rain, and Gigi transforms into Evil Eye and uppercuts Okarun. Then Hayase is like, call us if you need us again. And Momo is like, yeah, maybe we will.
I cannot wait. I hope the lawsuit ends in like nothing happening and everybody has a great time, because there's discussions of a lawsuit apparently. X Japan was not stoked about that. But I really hope we get to see them again just fucking shredding, doing an exorcism to narrate the end of a fight. It's going to be awesome.
I know in other episodes I talked about how I didn't like music in my anime, and I think Ishura was the first topic or the first anime that brought that up, where we had that dude that literally walked into no man's land and just fucking died and no one remembered him because he sucks.
Yeah.
But this I didn't mind at all. And because I think it had the elements of Gigi in there, basically telling them not to exercise Evil Eye, and it was almost pushing the story forward, and you had this conflict of them forcefully trying to exercise Evil Eye while Gigi was resisting. I felt like the entire thing cohesively worked really, really well.
Well, it also, you're able to read the words of the song as well, and how fucking power metal it is. And then Gigi on top of that in his fear and his struggle. I thought they just did it well. I thought it was just really fun. Like a fun experience on top of it being sad.
I think initially it started out fun because everyone was headbanging, but then you got that sinking feeling of dread. Like Gigi is explaining Evil Eye like a child, basically. And
I mean, he is, right?
Yeah, he is. And it's, you know, you get the whole thing like, oh shit, this exorcism is, you're basically going to kill a kid, pretty much. So it goes from being fun and exciting, headbanging metal to this weird, like, we're all going to be part of killing this kid in the end of this. Does everyone want to do that sort of thing?
Right.
So I thought that how they did this whole thing, like everything came together. And as much as I don't like music in my anime, this was an exception. And I would watch this episode again just for fun.
Yeah. And then it was the difference or the lightheartedness afterward, where it's like, oh, it's raining. Oh shit, get inside. Oh no, uppercut into the house. It was humor. And
we talked about this before, how Dan to Dan can transition between emotions so seamlessly that it seems normal. And I think that's one of the charms of the anime as a whole, is you can go from being serious, feeling dread, to comedy, to lightheartedness, and then circle around all of that and make us feel all of those emotions, but not make it weird. Anyway, Seiko tells Momo to get some cardboard from the supermarket, and they patch up the house, and now Seiko is trying to train Gigi, and it's the same training that Momo did when she was young, when she was sticking her finger up on her head and everyone made fun of her. Seiko says this is how you control your spiritual powers, and since he has so much, he might be able to hold back Evil Eye on his own with training. They're all sleeping in sleeping bags since the house is fucked up, and Gigi gets up to go to the bathroom, but Okarun hears and gets up to go to the bathroom too, and waits outside for Gigi to finish, and he helps him wash his hands with hot water. Momo then peeks out of her room, and they all give her the thumbs up as Ira is snoring loud as shit. They walk back, and some of the cardboard is coming off, so Okarun fixes it since there's dew and stuff on it, and Gigi apologizes again, but Okarun says they're looking out for each other. Okarun says when he was cursed with Turbo Granny, the Ayase family devoted themselves to taking care of him. He said he wanted to repay them, so he got a job delivering newspapers and took some money to them. But Seiko said if he wants to repay them, he should pay it forward to someone else who's in trouble. And that's what it means to look out for each other. Okarun says he wants to say cool stuff like that, but in his case, he's just acting tough, but wanted to look a little cool by mimicking her. The next morning, Ira wakes up and does her morning routine, and they all eat breakfast together, and Ira is taking care of Okarun and getting him extra food, and Momo is like, hey, I want some, and she's like, nah, bitch. They leave for school, and Gigi stays back, and Ira is like, hey, Okarun, just so you know, Momo thrashes around in her sleep, and she uses other people's toner without asking. And then Momo is like, oh yeah? Ira grinds her teeth really loud, and they yell at each other, and Okarun just smiles. I feel really bad because I do everything that both Momo and Ira do when they're asleep. So I'm just like the fucking worst person to sleep with, probably.
Literally spinning lariating while grinding his teeth and throwing people through houses.
And snoring really loud. It's bad.
Yeah. Tough out here in the streets.
Yep. I actually am pretty self-conscious about it. Like when I go and sleep at other people's houses, or if we get like an Airbnb and they're like, hey, we'll just get 2 rooms and then we'll share rooms. I'm like, nah. How much is
I'll get another house.
Yeah. Like, I'll pay the extra because I'm doing it for you guys.
Yeah.
But Momo is in class and she's like, fuck it. I'm going to get a part-time job. And Muko and Miko are like, wait, what? And Momo says she's going to rebuild the house. And they're like, oh, Ririna was saying they need part-time help at their restaurant. Muko and Miko go see Okarun and tell him that Momo got a part-time job so he can go home without her. And then they jump him and are like, you should go on a date with us instead. And Okarun is like, no, I refuse. And then they drag him out of school and force him. And they're like, we're just going to go get some tea. And he's like, isn't that a date? And they're like, if Momo and Gigi had tea, would that be a date? And he's like, fuck no, of course not. Of course that wouldn't be a date. They continue to drag him, yelling and screaming, and they get to a maid cafe. And Okarun is like, I'm not drinking fucking shit. But they walk in, and Momo is there, working. And he's like, oh shit. And he tries to escape, but Muko and Miko are like, not so fast. And that is how episode 6 ends.
Okay, this is something that is such a fine line between quote-unquote fan service, but like obviously a lot of dudes that watch this show are like, I'm Okarun, I want a cute girlfriend that likes hanging out with me and makes fun of me and like we can make fun of each other together, all this shit. And then when Okarun walks in and sees her working at the maid cafe and he's just like, oh shit, that's what boners are made of, I forgot, oh fuck, oh no, and then freaks out. I think that's exactly what like people like. If I saw my girlfriend in that attire, I'd be like, this is going to stick in my brain forever now. And I feel like they do a really good job of this scene together. I think it's really cute.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is cute. It's very heartwarming. But I think there's some cultural differences here. Because I think, like, these maid cafes, I think as Americans, we look at it and we're like, damn, what the hell? Like, fucking... this is crazy. Like, you go there and then the girls, you know, moi moi kyun kyun all over your fucking omu rice, and then they fucking shoot hearts with their hands and do all this shit. Like, that's weird as fuck. But I think in Japan it's like normal-ish. Like, it's not that crazy. And maybe because they have so many of them all over that it's just kind of like a normal
It's like
thing
fucking
now.
Hooters, dude. It's like... Okay, I'll give you a good example. There's a place that's similar to Hooters called Twin Peaks. And America is very abrasive when it comes to these types of restaurants.
I don't think it's that wild. I mean,
The food fucking slapped. Like,
it's pretty good.
I just thought about
It's
it,
pretty
right? And they did birria tacos there, and I was like, dude, this consomme is like fucking insane. It's so good. And it's a scratch kitchen, so they make everything in-house. Whereas like Hooters is like, you know, the commercialized version of it. I feel like if you're doing the Twin Peaks version of it, it's going to be more popular in America at least. But Twin Peaks and Hooters are basically fucking maid cafes. Like, you're paying some hot girl to be nice to you.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I think that the stigma between them, I mean, strip clubs exist in most cities. I'm just saying off the deep end of what service industry stuff like that is, where it's like, I'm going to go to a strip club to pay some girl to be nice to me and dance on me. That also is a thing. This show kills me. I think it's a great show. It's wonderful. 10s all around the board.
Yeah, and Pinky says, let's talk about the self-deprecation part. That's like a trendy thing amongst young people. If that's the case, I am the most trendy young person fucking around. Danny Dan's great. It continues to be great. And I think you'll like the future episodes. We will continue through until the finale.
I'm excited. So, yeah, Greg, thank you for being here and joining us on this episode of the Anime Book Club podcast. Thank you all for joining us here. Catch us, Spotify. Thank you for listening here. If you are anywhere you can listen to podcasts, generally we'll be there. Search up the Anime Book Club. Catch us on Instagram, the Anime Book Club Podcast. Catch us live on twitch.tv/DJ Montague. Thank you to IT Aesthetics for always fitting us with dope shit. Use tab C10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Thank you to Gamer Subs for filling our bellies with delicious, wonderful caffeinated beverages and uncaffeinated if you are into that. And use code DJ Montague at checkout there for 10% off your order. Greg, what's the moral of this week's story?
The moral of the story is don't always avoid the harder path or the path less traveled. It may be harder or more difficult, but in the long run, it might just pay off. Like Gigi. Because it would be easier to exercise evil eye and just like, okay, we're done with this thing, right? But then, Gigi's like, no, let's see if we can make this work a different way. And then obviously it's harder. He has to do all this training. Everyone has to be on their toes just in case he transforms. Mm-hmm. But they're choosing to do it. They're all choosing it.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a teamwork effort, a family, if you will.
And even though it's harder to do that, maybe it's better in the long run. Maybe it's not. Who knows? We will find out in the next episodes of Dan to Dan.
Friends, thank you again for being here. Greg, tell them what they could do.
Sign off?
Yeah, sure, whatever, man. I've tried to poke and prod to get Greg to say goodbye, and he never does it.
You just have to ask me.
I try and do it a different way every time.
Well, now that I know you're okay, try again.
Tell him what time it is.
Goodbye.
Nice. Thank you, friends, for checking out the Anime Book Club podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
And if you don't want to miss the next one, follow us on the socials where we announce new episodes, content, and other cool stuff. You can also check out our anime list with our rankings and follow along with what we're currently watching and what we have watched in the past.
All the links are in the description. See you in the next one. Bye!